Dear Vaishnavis, Hare Krishna, we welcome you all to our reading session, our noon reading session. And we are very blessed to have Brahma Tirtha Prabhu with us. It's our Bob Cohen Prabhuji who has been asking questions to Srila Prabhupada, and we are live with him today. So it's our great honor and blessing from Srila Prabhupada that we can get to hear from Prabhuji. As we know, he is a very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada from 72, Prabhuji, that you met, Srila Prabhupada. And he's the executive director of Bhaktivedanta Institute of Higher Studies. And he's also the co-director of ISKCON Resolve, which is an organization dedicated for conflict resolution, which is a huge responsibility in itself. So we are very, very grateful. And he's also in the board of directors for Krishna House in Gainesville and Bhakti Center in New York. And Prabhuji gives many classes over there. So we are blessed to have him live with us today. Let us all welcome Prabhuji with loud Hari Bols from your Zoom side. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining us.
Well, I'm honored to be here and happy to meet all of you. I see there are 28 people on here. Those of you who can, turn on your cameras because I like to see who I'm speaking to. I realize that's not practical for everyone, but if you can, please turn on your camera. Otherwise, I'll just assume you're listening from still being in your bed. So those without the camera, I know you're still in bed, and I understand. Just a little late for that. Okay, thank you. And I'm here to, it's a short session, so let's get down to business. I appreciate Mana Gopi for inviting me. I've had wonderful adventures with Prabhupada, and I'm so grateful to be able to share it.
And we are so happy actually to see the background that you have, the place where you met Srila Prabhupada you have from Mayapur, the hut.
Yeah, and even my shirt, I just got this here.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. The peace scarves. Thank you.
Yeah, I just got that yesterday.
Jai. All the memories are coming in your memory lane.
Yeah. So I thought I had the appropriate shirt for the occasion. So where would you like to begin? First, I see all of you are here. Where's everybody located? All across America or mostly in Michigan?
So if you people would like to unmute and say where you're from?
Sweden. Sweden.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'm from Farmington Hills, Michigan.
Okay.
Vancouver, Canada.
Okay.
Detroit, Michigan. Oh, from LA, Los Angeles.
Also from Michigan.
Yeah, someone put it in the chat. Austin, Texas, all over. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'm from Indianapolis.
Okay.
From Minnesota, Minneapolis.
Jersey City, I see. My dear friends, Yadunath and Nikanta are from Jersey City. Okay. So let us begin. Amana, where would you like to begin?
Sure. We all have this common question to begin with. So here is a question from Devaki Preeti. She texted this morning. Like she wants to know, and we all also want to know, like, how was it like being in Srila Prabhupada's presence, like especially for those of us who haven't experienced that firsthand, and would you like to help paint a picture of what it was like to being in Srila Prabhupada's physical presence, asking those questions, Prabhuji, firsthand?
Okay, what's it like? It's really nice, except when you screw up, which I've done. What's it like to be in Prabhupada's presence? Well, when I met Prabhupada in Mayapur, many of you have been to Mayapur. Those who have your cameras on and have been to Mayapur, raise your hand. Okay, so you know the Bhajan Kutir. I put that in the background. That was the only building in Mayapur when I went. There was a men's tent, a women's tent, a little hut for other purposes, which you can imagine, and a pandal. But there was nothing. There were no shops, no wall, nothing to buy. A little tube well, you pump it. And it was the very first Mayapur festival. And the devotees, Tamal Krishna had done a miracle, bought land. In the communist West Bengal, in a Muslim area, you couldn't buy land. And he bought it somehow, right near the Yoga Pit, the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, discovered by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So when Prabhupada heard this, he said, I want a festival there for Gaur Purnima. Devotee said, how can you do that? There's nothing here. And Prabhupada said, do it. So they did it. And I ran into devotees in Calcutta, and they said they're doing food relief for Bangladesh refugees. There had just been a war between India and Pakistan. East Pakistan became Bangladesh. So I went up there to help. I had no idea. So there's 70 devotees and one guest, me. And I didn't identify as a devotee. And I was introduced to Prabhupada and said, do you have any questions? And yeah, I had a lot of questions. I had spent most of my youth, most kids played ball, but because I had deficient vision, a disability, I couldn't do that. So I spent the time thinking about things. And my first hour of conversation with Prabhupada was not recorded because it was cassette tapes were very rare. And Shama Sundar was very parsimonious in how he used them. But after it got interesting, he hit the record button. So that's where the book begins. So there I am, the only guest at the Mayapur festival, sitting with Prabhupada. So what's it like? Well, one thing is it's mesmerizing. Prabhupada has a personality that just captures one. And Prabhupada was very, very funny, but most people didn't get it because the age difference and the cultural difference. Also, even if I said embarrassing things, Prabhupada would never make me feel embarrassed. And yeah, you read the book, there are embarrassing comments in there. He just very charming, the nicest person you can imagine. And what made Prabhupada extremely special is he cared about people. He really, really cared. And you could feel it. And I know when I'm with other devotees, I was recently with Indradumna Swami and his Vyasa Puja. I kind of snuck in because he doesn't allow God brothers. And he said, okay, now you have to speak. And I said to him, I've discovered the secret why you have so many disciples love you so much, because you love them so much. And those I've been with Radhanath Swami and others, same understanding. So that was the understanding of Prabhupada. He is very, really cared about people a lot. Over.
So, like when you ask some questions, when Prabhupada would kind of, like we do see when we are reading, you're basing yourself as a science teacher and he's coming back to you like what the real science is. So, did you feel very embarrassed to keep continuing to ask questions because there must be some other devotees in front of you too?
Well, no, there were no other devotees.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was just me, Prabhupada, and Shama Sundar for the most part. But I didn't realize till sort of near the end that the doorway, there were heads all the way up, over, and down, listening in. It's like the tall people on top, the short on the bottom. I guess I didn't know. There were heads all the way around the door listening. So, but it was just really Prabhupada and me. And I would be serving prasadam because that was my seva. And somebody would come to me, Prabhupada wants to see you. I said, but who's going to cover? I had my place in line. He said, don't worry, it'll be covered. So I'd just go walk in and see Prabhupada. I wouldn't offer obeisances. I didn't know any etiquette or anything. I just walk in and sit down. But I was always looking at his feet. He was on a little raised platform and I was sitting on a mat on the ground. So I was always looking at his feet the whole time, just instinctively.
Wow.
He has very nice feet. They don't look actually literally like lotus flowers, but they're very nice feet.
Jai.
It would be kind of weird if his feet actually looked like a
Look
lotus
like
flower.
lotus trip. That's an amazing humor. Yes, Prabhu. There was another question that was sent over was like, did you receive a lot of letters? Because we do see there is a letter that you did quote at the end, Prabhupada
No,
himself.
I didn't really write Prabhupada much. No, just that one time, though I talked with Prabhupada other times, and I even was Prabhupada's driver when he would come to New York. And there was the movement changed about the time I met Prabhupada. Before then, those of you who have read Miracles at Second Avenue or Yamuna's books, the other books, by the time I met Prabhupada, he had a bubble around him. Like if you wanted to see Prime Minister of India, you couldn't walk up to him because of a bubble around him. When America, around the time of President Lincoln, let's say, somebody could walk in the White House, knock on the door, a butler would answer, I want to talk to the president. Okay, sit down, see him. It was literally like that. There was no Secret Service. It may have been a guard, maybe not. And you could walk in and see him. But nowadays, if you want to see some big leader, they're surrounded in a bubble. By the time I met Prabhupada, he had 5,000 disciples at least. So he was kind of in a bubble. I was kind of the last devotee that Prabhupada personally made until Bhakti True Swami that I know of. So I didn't feel that I should take the liberty of writing him. But when I would see him, we would talk.
Jai. Devotees online, if any of you have any questions, would you like to raise your golden hand and go ahead from
Or
there?
you can put in the chat if you prefer, either way. Or you can unmute and speak up. Don't be shy.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Nanda Pranam, sorry.
Yes.
Prabhu, I have a question. Can I ask? What is that, maybe 2 or 3 things that is, you have been following Prabhupada's mission and helping Prabhupada's mission for so many years. If you have to tell the top 3 things that is in your heart that is keeping you going for so many years.
The top 3 things that kept me going. That's a good question. Number 1 is gratefulness. I'm grateful for Prabhupada and grateful for the devotees, very grateful. So that always keeps me going. Without them, life would be boring. I've been devotee a half a century, and I haven't had a boring day. I wouldn't mind one, but I haven't had one. It's always adventures. And to me, death is just another adventure waiting to happen. That's quite a blessing to have. The second thing I'm grateful for is Krishna's very kind. Sometimes his kindness may be, as Lord Chaitanya says, by a difficult to embrace. But Krishna's always kind. And sometimes that can be hard to see, but it's always true. And the difficulties are there for a purpose. And third thing I'm grateful for is Pakoras. And by that, I mean,
I didn't understand that, Prabhu. Sorry. I couldn't
Pakor,
understand the last one.
pakoras, pakoras,
pakoras.
samosas,
Okay,
samosas.
okay.
In other words, and I don't actually eat fried food much anymore, but what I mean by that is I'm grateful for the accoutrements we have. We have deities that are beautiful. We have prasadam. We have, kirtan is so nice. Japa is tough. Japa, it's you and Krishna. You got to work at it. Kirtan, you just go there and just go with the flow. So there's so many things that make the attractiveness of Krishna easy for us. But one more thing I'm particularly grateful for is retreats. For example, every one of you has a cell phone, and every one of you has to charge it virtually every day. Unless it's an iPhone, then you got to charge it twice a day. So you all have your phones yet. You have to recharge. So in a similar way, we have to recharge our spiritual batteries. So I do that by going to retreats. I try to go every year or two to Govardhan Hill, to Burjan and Satyananda Swami's retreats. And these retreats are a wonderful, wonderful blessing. Chance to break away from the daily grind. I mean, and that's a wonderful opportunity. The retreats all over. Another blessing we've had that doesn't seem that way because we lost dear friends through it, but that was COVID. Before there was COVID, we wouldn't be meeting like this. Then COVID came, and there's a silver lining to everything. And all of a sudden, devotees, wherever you are in Austin or Naperville or St. Louis or a godforsaken place like New Jersey. I can say that because I'm from New Jersey, so I can get away with that. And no matter where you're from, you can, no matter where you are, you can connect, get 10 classes, have plenty of associations. So even COVID was a blessing in that sense. So we just have to, one of the lessons Prabhupada taught me is see everything in relation to Krishna. It's easy. I don't mean that. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's very simple, but it's definitely not easy. Next question.
Thank
Adi
you so much,
Gaurangi Mataji.
Prabhupada.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Adi Gaurangi Mataji, would you like to go next, please?
Thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I had two questions. One was when you first came and you said you had a lot of questions. When you met Prabhupada, was it arranged or spontaneous? Like when he would call you, did you have questions already prepared in your mind? Or was it just based on the conversation, your questions came up because they're very, very nice questions. Very nice that they were recorded and all the perfect answers that we get to benefit from. So I was just wondering how you came up with your questions. And then my second question was, at what point did you realize, you mentioned that you were not a devotee, but when did you realize you wanted to become a devotee?
Well, I'll answer the questions in order. First one is no, I have spent 15 years preparing questions in my mind, reading and all, but I didn't really think of specific questions. Prabhupada just kind of extracted it from me. Sometimes I felt like I was a puppet and he was pulling the strings. He had a way of doing that. But I didn't particularly prepare for questions. Being in Mayapur was a little strange in that some of the devotees like Vishaka and Yadav were there. It was kind of shocking when I met them because they said, "You mean normal people can be devotees?" That was kind of shocking to me because, most were from quite a bit of hippie stock.
Yeah.
And since I showered every day, I disqualified myself as a hippie. So there was, and there was, when I was there, somebody could have been a devotee for 2 weeks, or the longest time would have been 6 years, maybe 7 years max, maybe very few at that much. Most just a few years. But I couldn't tell if they had just joined 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago. There's no way for me to know. So, and everyone was in a heavy, as we say, preaching mood. And there was one person to preach to, me. So it did create a little. So I think Prabhupada kept me in this bhajan kutir all day to protect me. That was it. Now, when I became a devotee, I mean, I was chanting Hare Krishna before I met Prabhupada. I saw a chanting party in New York City in 1968, and I liked the chanting. I didn't know what it was. Learned it from the play Hair. It was on the album. I started chanting. I did visit a temple a few times. I thought it was strange. And I said, the only way I'm going to know what's legitimate and not, because after Prabhupada, a lot of weirdo gurus came to America. I mean, some of them really weird. The only way I'm going to know what's legitimate is to go to India. And so I signed up to become a high school teacher. And some of you will get this joke. The most advanced, least political, well-run state in India ended up being Bihar. Those from India will understand that joke. Um, and but I didn't identify as a devotee. I was an inquirer. Then, after Prabhupada spent basically 2 whole days speaking to me, it was Gaur Purnima, full moon night, and Yamuna came to me, the wonderful Yamuna who you hear sing every day, the Govinda prayers. And Yamuna had one of the biggest hearts I've ever met in my life. There's no one quite like her. And I mean that. And she came to me. There was no electricity there, a little generator to run a loudspeaker. But she came in the full moon light with tears in her eyes, telling me how lucky I was. She said, you don't know how fortunate you are. Prabhupada's spending all day with you. I mean, he's just giving you all of his time. You don't know how lucky you are. I mean, Prabhupada was protecting me, I think, from some of his disciples, but putting that aside. And after she said that, it really impacted me. And I went behind the pandal and I just started crying. I said, oh my gosh, am I going to lose all my hair? What's going to happen to me? I did lose it eventually. And I said, what's going to happen to me? And the next day, Prabhupada called me in to see him. This is in the book. And I was very scared. I said, well, I have to leave now. I got to go back to my teaching. But my teaching for the Peace Corps, no one knew what I was doing. I was an itinerant teacher, visiting schools and doing some training. And nobody from the Peace Corps, once I got there, ever visited me or had any idea what I was doing. And the Bihar government was totally spaced out. They had no idea what I was doing. So I basically a free agent. But anyway, I said to Prabhupada, I have to go back to my teaching. And Prabhupada said, do not talk L-E-A-V-E, leave. Talk L-I-V-E, live. So I said, I should stay longer. Yeah. He goes, yes. I said, okay. And he goes, good boy. As soon as he said good boy, some of you may have a pet of some kind. Sometimes some will say good boy to their pet dog. So at that moment, I became Prabhupada's pet dog. I knew it. So then everything changed, became much more serious. I
Exactly
hope
when
that
we
helps.
read this, when we read this in the book, we all had tears and we felt like Prabhupada was telling us to live and not leave.
Yeah, and that was all induced by the wonderful, amazing Jamuna, who's, just, I mean, there's a great loss when we lost her. There wasn't anyone quite like her. And I several times got to thank Yamuna. I said, I owe you such a debt. And I thanked her. We actually became friends.
Sure.
And so I hope that answers that question. I actually met Prabhupada before Mayapur, briefly. I was in Calcutta because my assignment was the closest assignment to Calcutta. So I could take a 14-hour train ride and go to Calcutta. And I was the nearest big city. Sometimes I'd, want to go to a big city. I was hardly had any money. I was just earning a few hundred rupees a month, but, trains were cheap. So I go to Calcutta and Prabhupada, I visited the temple. I heard Giriraj Swami speaking at a public pandal. I was quite impressed. So I said, let me go to this place and see what it's about. And Prabhupada was there. So somebody said, you can go in and sit with Prabhupada. So I went in and Prabhupada said, "Do you have any questions?" So I asked a very stupid question. And I said, "I'd just come from Bodh Gaya, a very famous Buddhist pilgrimage place." And I said, "Oh, well, you're following the Hindu path. Why not the Buddhist path?" So Prabhupada answered. Prabhupada didn't want to discuss a particular religion. He'll only discuss philosophy. So he goes, "So what does the Buddha say?" He wants to discuss philosophy. So I said, "Well, he has fourfold noble and 8 of this, or was it 8 of that and 4 of this?" And I trying to remember from my college Oriental philosophy class what the Buddha said. Finally, I turned to him and said, "I can't remember." He said, "So why are you asking?" At that point, I just shut up. I said, "Okay, I better be a listener." So when I met Prabhupada, I said, "I ain't going to be a fool twice." Somebody said, "You can go see him. I'll just be a listener." But Prabhupada extracted from me, just extracted from me. The first hour I mentioned wasn't recorded. I wish it was, because in it, Prabhupada set the scene. Who are you? Why are you here? What are you doing? And he really set this very relaxed tone. It was really sweet. And Prabhupada just captured me that way. So I see Janavat Devi and Siddhartha. One of you has a questions.
There's a chat, there's a message too.
Okay, let me look. Let me see. Have you
Divya
taken this?
Vrajapriya.
Yeah, I did not know who Prabhupada was before reading that book, but Perfect Questions, the book that brought me into Christian consciousness. Thank you very much for the brilliant conversations. Deep gratitude, and I thank you for your wonderful comments.
She is a wonderful preacher here, and she leads nice Bhakti Vrikshas, and she is an amazing preacher.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. No words to express my gratitude to you.
That's Divya Vrajapriya there.
Okay. Yeah.
Janava Devi, Janava Priya Mataji, would you like to ask your question?
So, what in the introduction you said that when you went to India to see a philosophy that was true and not the bogus yogis in America, you said you saw money-making churches and temples. What were they like? And what was life in Mayapur like? Was it, I mean, I know it probably wouldn't be comfortable back in the 19...
Well, when I lived in India, I didn't really have running water, maybe an hour a day, didn't have electricity rarely. Mayapur was worse, there was nothing. But when you're 22 years old, camping out's kind of cool. So, people pay a lot of money to camp out. I was getting paid a few hundred rupees a month to camp out. So, when I would visit temples in India, I was highly disappointed. The temples were like Amazon.com. People would go to the temple. I'd ask them, "Why are you here?" I was trying to learn about spiritual life. "Why are you here?" And they say, "I want money. I want dowry. I want this. I want that." It was like, what do you do in Amazon? You make a deposit and the next day you get your package. If not, you curse out Amazon. So similarly, people would go to the temple, make their deposit of punya points, they'd call it. And the next day, if they didn't get what they wanted, they'd be mad at God. I was very unimpressed. I went to temples, mosques, churches. I was very unimpressed. I was actually quite disappointed. I went to India, lived very, very austerely, got a worst case of Delhi belly, we used to call it. All this, I said, huh? It wasn't what I was looking for. Then I met Prabhupada. Hope that answers your question, Siddhartha. Siddhartha,
Yes.
what are you going to be when you grow up?
Not sure. Maybe a traveling preacher?
Traveling preacher, maybe, he said.
Maybe. That's nice. If any adult asks you that question, I'll give you the perfect answer so you don't have to answer that ridiculous question. And the answer is, what are you going to be when you grow up? The answer is older.
Oh.
That will solve the problem. Some wise guy like me ask you that question. You can just say older, then they won't bother you anymore. Okay. Vishnu Priya.
Yes, Vishnu Priya Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I just want to really quick say thank you for this wonderful conversation you had with Srila Prabhupada. I really enjoy reading perfect questions, perfect answers.
You and I have something in common. I enjoyed it too, but go on.
My question is, we distribute books, my husband, myself and my husband and I, and some other devotees. And my question is, can you give me one or two pointers how to distribute that particular book? Like some things I can say to people that would draw their attention. Thank you.
People are very lonely nowadays. In fact, devotees are often very lonely. When you join the movement, it's like a cookie cutter. You have to look like this, talk like this, act like this. And that's okay, because we're trying to get rid of our bodily concepts. So we get some training, like when someone joins, I had military training. You have to dress like this, look like this. But eventually, in the military, they want to find out what you're good at. Somebody's good at shooting, somebody's good at logistics. So they put you in your specialty and they become more personal. Same thing as devotees, we need to be radical personalists. So we really need to relate to people. Prabhupada was a radical personalist. So when you distribute books, get to know the people you're distributing it to. Be interested in them. Prabhupada was interested. Who are we? And what do we need? So when you're interested in that, people will become interested in you. And then there's a lot of, you only have a few moments to meet someone, but you want to really connect with people you're meeting. They're not victims. They're spirit souls who you're helping on a path. And so the way you help them is being that personalist yourself and really interested. And you can say, well, this was the story of a Peace Corps worker who went to India looking for some realization. And his story, you can say, really inspired me to go deeper into myself and learn who I am and be a better person. You can tell your story in relation to the book and then try to see what resonates with them. Above all, be a personalist. I hope that helps you. Thank you. Are there any other questions? I know that time is very limited on this. I love being here with you, and I'm very grateful to be invited to this session. I'll say one more thing for any of you who are scientists, philosophers, or even highly educated in humanities. I run the Bhaktivedanta Institute. I became involved in 76, on and off, and then we revived it a dozen years ago, and now we're doing quite a bit. So any of you that have some interest in the Bhaktivedanta Institute and what we do, you might say the science philosophy arm, you can send a letter to me. I'll put my email in the chat. We have a website. Everyone has a website. Even idiots have a website, but we have a good, nice one. This is the original name Prabhupada gave, Bhaktivedanta Institute for Higher Studies, because, it's not just science, philosophy, some humanities. So anyone has some interest in that subject matter, let me know. My final hurrah this life is working for the Institute. We're designing all the exhibits for the TOVP Museum. We have a full-time, we call them nerds, astrophysicists, astronomers, philosophers, theologians working on that project. But is there one final question? And I know the time is very limited, Hemanga Gopi.
Yes, Prabhu. Would you like to also speak a little bit on your conflict resolution part? Is there anything?
Sure. I will tell, I come from a Jewish tradition, so I will tell a little rabbinical story. This is how I heard it. One time, members of the congregation went to see the rabbi and said, "Rabbi, we must stand during this part of the liturgy." Others felt they should be sitting. So this delegation went to see him. And the rabbi says, "We feel we must stand." And the rabbi says, "Yes, that is our tradition." Then the other delegation went to see the rabbi and said, "Rabbi, we must sit during this part of the liturgy." And the rabbi goes, "Yes, that is our tradition." And then both sides got together. And when they got together, they realized they had contradictory instructions. So they sent a joint delegation to see the rabbi. "Rabbi, you told one group to sit and one group to standing is a tradition. Now we're going to fight with each other." And the rabbi says, "Yes, that is our tradition." So that's the nature of this world, to have a lot of conflict. So my dear friend, Braja Bihari, in 2002, through a quirk of fate, met this Harvard mediator who wanted to introduce religion to mediation. And he had the first mediation school, which I went to. And it was a life-changing experience for me, because what I really wanted was Samadarshana. And as devotees, us and the karmis, I didn't like that. I wanted to have more equal vision, and mediation was able to help me overcome my own inequities. And then I've done mediations for 20 years, 20 some odd years in the movement, 24 years. I'm mostly retired now. I just mentor mediators because the Institute takes all of my energy. And it's a very, very rewarding. Devotees maybe have a fall down. How do you deal with it? The financial difficulties, disputes among devotees. And it says in the Jesus, in his famous Sermon on the Mount, said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." So I feel I've been very blessed to help bring peace. And very few religious societies have internal conflict resolution. ISKCON is almost unique to the point that even other religions, such as the Unitarians and the Catholic Church and Jewish congregations, have come to ISKCON saying, "Can you help us solve our internal disputes?"
That's amazing to hear from you. We didn't know that part.
Yeah,
Wow.
because most religions work by hierarchy, and we're saying, no, we will, there's a way to resolve it. And I go even though I'm mostly retired, every year I go to at least a week of training to keep my skills fresh. And I spent 2 years as a volunteer in court doing small claims mediation to hone my skills. So a lot of training, but anybody that's interested in joining ISKCON Resolve, we will, oops, I put my email wrong. Anybody that's interested in joining ISKCON Resolve can write me and introduce you to Braja Bihari, or you can go to ISKCON Resolve, I think it's .org, I think so. And you can go to the webpage and, we'll train you to be a conflict resolver. And you'll be blessed to be a peacemaker. I've done every kind of service you can think of. I ran a BBT division, ran a Gurukula without one incident of abuse, I'm proud to say. There's a saying, the Navy has a saying, join the Navy and see the world, because they're always on the ship going places. So I say, join ISKCON and have a great adventure. See everything. Okay, I see that Siddhartha has his hand up again, so we'll conclude with the youth.
What is mediation? Is it resolving conflicts or?
Yes. Let's say your mother said, "It's time for you to go to bed," and you say, "No, it's not." Then the mediator would come in to try to help you work that out. Ultimately, you're going to do what your mother said anyway, so maybe that's not an appropriate example.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Prabhuji.
Very grateful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you anytime.
We are very,
And when
very
you're
thankful.
when any of you are in Alachua, our institute is in Gainesville, just near Alachua, and you're welcome to come tour the Bhaktivedanta Institute. We have quite a wonderful facility.
Jai.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhu.
Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, and Brahma Tirtha Prabhu ki jai, jai, jai. Thank you so much,
Thank
Prabhuji,
you
for
very
being
much.
with us
Hare
today.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaishnavis. We'll end the call here. Thank you all so much for joining in, and please continue to join in. We have daily reading sessions, so please come in and relish these books with us. We'll be very happy to be in your association. Hare